Hello and welcome to Inside Edition to discuss national, regional and international issues in depth. The Manama Entrepreneurs Week, also known as MEW, was launched in 2015 as a platform that connects and enables entrepreneurs and startups through showcasing leading regional and international success stories and highlighting the various support and business acceleration mediums available in the Kingdom of Bahrain. The MEW is a week-long event held annually, presenting various events, seminars, workshops and conferences that are held in celebration of entrepreneurship, further promoting and optimizing the entrepreneurship ecosystem. This event that impacts not only Bahrain, but the MENA region and entrepreneurs across the globe overcomes or helps businesses overcome challenges and is actually the main point addressed in the MEW, which is the opportunity to learn and grow. Outside of that, each session in the workshops went into a prospect to share about global opportunities and trends, and then it wraps up with tangible steps on how to apply this knowledge into their own lives and businesses. We were able to set a special interview with the founder and current CEO of Empowering a Billion Women by 2020, Mrs. Ingrid van der Veld. Her aim is to encourage others to think outside of the box to achieve a global sustainable future. Since its launch in 2015, Manama Entrepreneurship Week continues to be a platform that connects and enables entrepreneurs and startups through showcasing leading regional and international success stories. And with us today is a success story, or one of the success stories, chairwoman and CEO of Empowering a Billion Women by 2020, first entrepreneur in residence in Del, Emirates member of the United Nations Foundation's Global Entrepreneurs Council, Ingrid van der Veld. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
The Empowering of a Billion Women by 2020, that was such a big startup when it first started, when people started talking about it, and we're pretty close to 2020. What can you tell me about this initiative, and how did it start off? How did the idea come up?
Sure. Well, thank you for asking me. And again, thank you for having me. So Empowering a Billion Women by 2020, it actually started in 2011. That's when the vision was born, if you will. And I knew to execute on that vision, I needed a global technology partner. That led to my partnership with Dell. I became the first entrepreneur in residence of Dell, overseeing entrepreneurial initiatives globally. And together we were able to, we reached over 600 million people in 1 year alone.
Wow.
And it really taught me the power of having the right partner, especially when you're building a big vision like this, and certainly how key technology is to that process. So as we fast forward now, we have a lot of work to do, for sure, but we have 36 chapters, we're in 5 continents, have traveled around the world, have a community of people around the world, and really what's key to our success is in fact our partners. So the global corporates that we team with, and we also look for who are the local-based women's organizations that we can team with, because we have something like we have a free business school.
Yeah.
And to get into that free business school, one of the requirements starting in 2020 is that you're actually a member of one of the local organizations.
All
and
right.
through that initiative, we know that women are going to get the full support that they need at the local level across the globe, but it'll also help us expand our footprint very, very quickly as well.
Yes. Well, you mentioned the free business school, but there are also other services that you guys provide. What kind of services are those?
Yeah, so, and thank you for asking that. So really what we created at EBW was what I wish I would have always had when I first started. Now, I had an incredible mentor, but we had to sort of figure out the process of how to get from point A to point B as a woman, technology entrepreneur, building a successful venture.
Yeah.
So what we've really tried to do at EBW is simplify that process, provide a system, provide a one-stop shop access for women to gain access to the mentorship, the education, the technology resources, access to capital, access to a community. And so the way that the company operates is we have a robust virtual platform that people interact with, and then we have the offline platform with our events and our chapters and things like that. Okay. So really this 360-degree wraparound support system for women entrepreneurs to start from their dream all the way through. Ideally, we want to see them exit and create wealth
Yes.
and then reinvest that in themselves, their families, their communities, ultimately the world, but go off and start their next venture.
Perfect. And I mean, having 36 chapters internationally also means that a lot of cultural diversity came in there. Was that an obstacle or was it a plus?
It has been, well, everything I'll say has pluses and minuses, but it's been a huge opportunity. We never thought we would be developing these chapters, but what we learned was in building a virtual community that for women, they really want to meet in person. And so those chapters were a natural outspring of that. The women wanted to start these chapters. But what we've also learned in the process, and as I've said many times since I've been here, we never show up anywhere unless we're invited to come in. We really see ourselves as a complementary support organization to support what's already on the ground locally, because the local communities know what's needed, what's working, what's not working. And so if we're invited to come, we'll come, have a conversation around what's happening, where do you need support, and then figure out how we can plug into that. So in that respect, it's just turned into this beautiful opportunity for just all these different cultures, a global sisterhood, but just really building effective solutions that can work.
All right, so one of the things on the UN SDGs, the 17 UN SDGs, is empowerment of women and gender equality and such. And this program really does work towards that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We're very clear that our focus is to work on solving number 5, number 8, and number 17. So gender equality, economic prosperity, and then the global partnerships. And so that's what we do at EBW. And then we look to partner with organizations that are solving some of the other SDGs so that we can work to solve those together.
Yes. Ms. van der Veld, in an issued statement, you said that I fundamentally believe that if we are going to create the change we want to see in the world, we must view sustainability through the eyes of women. From your point of view, how do you value women's contribution in entrepreneurship now?
I think that without it, we are not going to progress our world. We're not going to create sustainable societies. We're not going to create prospering economies. Our opportunity to create jobs will not be there. It is that critical to have the inclusion of women. And what it really boils down to is that I always say, first of all, for women to elevate to our fullest potential, we're only going to do it in collaboration with the men. So that's critically important. And that said, women, when we start making money, whether it's a little bit of money or a lot of money, we reinvest 90% of what we earn back into our families, communities, and ultimately the world. So I tell people, I'm literally obsessed over the success of women to follow their dreams, make an income, make an impact doing that, and that happens through entrepreneurship and innovation. Because without that, we are not going to create a global sustainable future that we all want to see.
It's not about the individuality that is given to the woman at that point. It truly is about the sustainability of the whole ecosystem when it comes to the economic side, isn't it?
For sure. Absolutely. It's, again, if you look at even the stats on sort of women-led ventures versus our male counterparts, we tend to drive more investor back, 35% higher return on investment, 14% higher revenue in our ventures. And part of that is because, again, historically, it's been the men that have been leading the way, being the CEOs, running the countries. And it's so exciting because we're seeing this massive change now, right? Where women are coming, they're stepping up to the plate, they're getting involved. But because we don't have the role models prior to us that look like us, that act like us, we're figuring things out oftentimes for the first time. And we're thinking about things through the lens of how we would think about normal life, which is how do we take care of our families and juggle all of these responsibilities. Now you add the entrepreneurial piece to it, and our approach in business is different than the guys, and the results end up being different. So working together is where we're going to maximize results for everyone.
Well, you were a key speaker, or you are a key speaker at the Manama Entrepreneurship Week, which is being held for the 5th consecutive year. After seeing some of the things and some of the businesses here and some of our businesswomen that have been centered within Bahrain, what is your take on it?
Well, I'm laughing because I'm actually now, and thank you all for having me, to the government, to the embassy for bringing me here. But I'm having a little laugh to myself because I actually keep saying I need more time on my schedule, not only to handle the business ventures that I have back in the States, but there is so much business opportunity that's actually unfolding while I am here. And opportunities we're uncovering them. And the conversations that we're already having, we're figuring out how can we do more together? How can we have this cross-country collaboration? How can we build, here in Bahrain? What is the potential impact for that in the entire MENA region and beyond?
Yeah.
So coming here has been just such a gift. I've been asked many times. I've not been able to make it happen. This was a priority for me to come, and I can say out of this is not a one and done. If any of these conversations or any visibility into what's to happen, there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of this.
Yeah, well, Bahrain is the gateway to the rest of the GCC, and the GCC is fertile land when it comes to new developments, new entrepreneurship. How do you see the future of empowering businesswomen or women entrepreneurs within the region, the GCC region specifically?
Well, I think that Bahrain really has this opportunity to almost be this leading role model, if you will, of what's really possible. Because I think the conversation of women's empowerment is happening across the GCC, and there's a lot of activity, which is very exciting. And given all of the meetings that I've had and the conversations to understand where is everybody at, when I look at Bahrain, it's this open mind, open spirit, open heart, open community that's saying we want to figure this out. We want to see women grow and thrive, and we know that we don't have everything in place just yet. Help us figure out what can we do to make this a ripe environment for women to believe that not only can I follow my dream, but I'm going to get access to the resources that I need to actually make it successful. And I've talked to a lot of the men in the community as well, and I'm really inspired by what I'm hearing and the commitments that are being made to do their part to help make financing easier to access for the women as well.
True. Well, you are a TV personality, you are also an entrepreneur, and another thing that we did not talk about yet is your role at the UN Foundation Global Entrepreneurship Council. How does that support your aspired goals?
Well, I joined actually when I was invited to be on that council, and I was so humbled when I got that invitation because these are 10 of the world's top entrepreneurs. And so when they actually asked me to be on this council, I didn't actually give an immediate yes. I wanted to understand why are you asking me, and what are your expectations of me? And what really inspired me was that, again, women's empowerment and girls' issues, youth issues were really, really important to the United Nations, to the United Nations Foundation. And they felt that because of the work that I do and sort of the experience that I have, that I'd be able to help collaborate with them to create global impact. And so it was after understanding that and really exploring how we can work together that I said I would love to do that. And it was a real treat to be part of that board as the UN SDGs were being formed. So really seeing it now from the very beginning, and now here we are almost 5 years later. And even as I look at empowering 1 billion women by 2020, our whole team is in this process of, okay, we're coming to 2020, and what next? What are the next 10 years going to look like towards our own goals, and our own vision towards accomplishing the UN SDGs? So it's just an exciting time all around, but they've been a huge inspiration to a lot of the work that I do.
Well, as you said, 2020 is coming up, and that is the deadline that you had set for the empowering 1 billion women. So what's coming up now? I mean, with 2020 approaching, and what are the goals after that, or what's going to happen after that?
Really what we're looking at now, is first of all, our work is not done until we reach that goal. That's first and foremost. And so I'm also a believer that with a clear vision and a committed heart that anything is possible. And I happen to be a strong faith-based person, so I'm looking for what is the amazing miracle that's going to show up potentially through these partnerships that allow us to reach that goal very, very quickly. The third thing, though, is being a realist about that, is going back to the partnership strategy to make sure we reach that goal. That's critically important. But then beyond that, what we're really looking for when we say what's next is, okay, so what does all of this mean unless we can actually take it and really create the impact in the world that we want to see.
Yeah.
So our focus has really shifted from a business perspective to how are the corporations, how are the investors, how are the governments, how are they really looking to include women into this process, and really focusing on further developing our platform to make sure that there are successful connections and integrations so that women now can authentically tap into some of these much bigger opportunities, both locally and globally. So we'll be doing this for the next 10 years.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ingrid van de Velde, for giving me this interview.
Thank you, Sarah.
We have gotten to the end of it. Is there anything that you'd like to add at this point, being here in you're in Bahrain for the first time, right?
This is my first time.
Yeah, tell me about that experience.
It has been, again, just so incredible. I'm so inspired. And again, inspired by the people, the warmth, the hospitality. And I think the only thing that I really would leave is just, I hope that what I continue to see as I've been here, I really want to just encourage the entrepreneurs, the innovators, but especially the women, that there's no better time than now to be building these ideas, building these ventures. Just, I'm one person, but I'm an example of people from the outside, from around the world, who are watching what's happening here. And we know that for us to achieve our big goals, we're only going to do it when we collaborate with the innovators on the ground. And so we're going to come to you. Yeah. And we see that this is a platform to access the rest of the region, again, ultimately the world. So again, there's no better time than now to be an entrepreneur and just go for it, because your success is that important to us. And like I said, going back to the beginning, I fundamentally believe the only way we're going to build a global, sustainable future that we're all proud of, that we can all live and thrive in, is with the inclusion of women and really helping women elevate to our fullest potential.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that interview.